center of South America lies a land of volcanoes and tropical jungles. Bolivia, where the sounds, the aromas, and the colors are in harmony with the people descended from the ancient Incas. With its rugged, dusty hues, it's also the land of colorful lakes in the midst of the Andes Mountains. Bolivia is the heart of the South American continent.
Mario, ¿dónde está?
Mario, where are you?
Sí? Okay?
Okay, I'm on my way.
Erwan Guégan, a Frenchman who's been living in Bolivia for 2 years, is on his way to the village of Mapiri on the edge of the Amazon basin. There's no train or plane to access the valleys of the Yungas region, only a steep, twisting road and collective taxis crammed to the limit by their drivers.
Llama.
This is a deadly road. Cut into steep mountainsides, it's nearly impossible to get by an oncoming vehicle. So many lives have been lost here that it's called the Carretera de la Muerte, Death Road.
On est parti de La Paz, on était à 3600 mètres.
We left La Paz up at 3,600 meters. Then the road took us up to 4,600 meters, almost the height of Mont Blanc. And the rest is a descent of 3,500 meters on this road, which will bring us almost to the equatorial forest. So we'll go from -2, -3 degrees to 35 in the shade. There's a legend that says that when you take this road on a foggy night, a second road can open up. So people take that second road and go over the edge. They say that the spirits lure them towards their fate, towards the wrong road.
Erwan knows all the legends about this road, the only access to the Amazonian part of the country. His many trips and encounters here have brought him to know and love this land. By collective taxi, it takes at least a day to get to the village of Mapiri. That's in good weather and with no stopping. At least 3 days when it's raining.
Bien, 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 bien. No te para. No te para, no te para.
As the kilometers roll by, people get on, others get off. The hours drag on. The passengers each do what they can to forget the bumps, dust, and heat that rattle the bones and numb the mind.
¿Hay alguien? J'ai quand même 2 jours de route.
You're on the road for 2 days, so you have the time to talk to people. You go through some rough patches. You run into someone who's in trouble. What I like about places like this is that they're like the sea. You have to help out the person in trouble. So if you break down on the way, people are going to stop. You talk it over, and they'll try to find a solution. You always have the human contact here. This is the country's true riches right now.
The last obstacle on the way to Mapiri, crossing the river. This little city in the heart of the Amazon jungle is like the Wild West, with its gold mines and its pioneers from the four corners of Bolivia and even from all of South America. In high water season, it's impossible to cross the river, so the inhabitants are totally isolated.
Ça va, Mario? Hein? Si, plutôt.
Erwan has been working on a project here that he's quite committed to. The construction of a landing strip to open up the region and thus allow medical evacuations. The landing strip at Mapiri has been ready for 2 weeks, but so far no plane has yet landed here. Erwan is 47 and is no stranger to adventures in far-off lands. He ran an organic pepper plantation in Africa. He went hunting for the treasure of Coco Island. He learned magic with the pygmies, made movies, sold furniture in China. His ability to bounce back from one offbeat project to another, even more wild one, has taken him to 5 continents. A few months ago, he embarked on a new undertaking. He has decided to write his autobiography, relating his 1001 adventures.
You experience an adventure, and then when you get home, you realize you're hooked. And that's how you wind up in Bolivia working in gold and setting up an airline company to help out the local population.
Gold is the main economic activity of Mapiri, and most of the mines are along the river. Big mining companies are working the Bolivian soil with fleets of bulldozers and excavators. But there are also the solitary prospectors who travel the river by pirogue to try their luck picking up the crumbs spit out by the gigantic mines. These men are desperados who toil at the earth or strain the muddy river water for a few flakes of gold.
You should know that the President Evo Morales gave this land back to the Indian communities. Then those Indian communities set up cooperatives. And it's those cooperatives that possess the mining rights. 90% of the mines here belong to the local population.
Victor is one of those souls driven to the Mapiri by gold fever and poverty. For 3 years now, he's been working like a dog on this desolate beach. Victor, with the energy of despair, spends his days running from the hole he's digging to the pump, which is forever getting blocked up with sand, and to the sieve he uses to separate the stones from the tiny flakes of the precious metal.
Is there gold in this river?
Yeah, there's gold in there. But it's the river that decides to deposit the gold or not. The river lays down the law. She deposits what she's carrying here and there. You have to be able to recognize the stones. These, for example, are good. The round pebbles like these, they're no good. You find gold along with the flat stones. They're the boss stones. The others, traders.
Completely cut off from society, Victor lives and works all alone on this little patch of beach. He says that the wild animals of the jungle are his only friends.
Back home, they all think I'm making good money. But I'm earning nothing. That's how it is. I'm earning peanuts. I never come up with more than half a gram. Gold's the devil here. And money is the Lord.
Y la plata es del Señor.
Everything comes from the Lord.
El Señor, todo es del
Everything
Señor.
is God.
Todo es del Dios. Todo.
This crumpled scrap of paper contains the fruit of 3 weeks' hard work, 20 euros worth of gold. Once a month, Victor goes into the village to sell his gold and buy supplies to get him through the following month.
Ciao, Fidel. Gracias.
As for Fidel, he decided to try his luck in a socavón, a gallery dug in the riverbank and which yields too little gold to interest the mining companies. He works alone as well, but it's the price of his freedom.
Eso hay que cuidarse, hay que abrigarse bien.
You have to take care of yourself in the mine and cover up well.
Hay sótano, ¿ve?
You have to drink fizzy drinks.
Después,
And above all,
consumir
never ice-cold drinks.
Cosas, hielos, fresco hielo.
The cold
Hasta que-
gives you a pain right here, and you can catch a pneumonia.
Así te impide el trabajo en... No,
I've been working in this mine for a long
tampoco
time,
no.
and I never get sick because I work at a relaxed pace. I don't eat too
Tampoco me
much,
siento así, comida.
and I don't drink too
No
much
me da
water.
mucha hambre.
I take it easy.
Tranquilo, trabajo.
Erwan is inspecting the landing strip this morning. If everything goes according to plan, an airplane should be landing here for the first time this afternoon.
Il a plu toute la nuit. Le terrain
It rained all night.
Mais bon, ça,
The ground is a bit muddy, but it looks like it should be okay.
mais bon, la brume, là, elle coince
However,
un peu
because of the
sur-
humidity, the mist is kind of
l'humidité, elle
clinging to
coince
the
un peu
peaks
sur
of the
les
small
sommets
nearby
des
mountains.
petites montagnes alentours.
I think we'll wait for an hour or two. Then we'll make a decision because the pilot is the only one to decide whether he'll land or not.
Décider s'il se pose ou non. C'est beau ça?
Nice, huh?
Comunicado. El Gobierno Autónomo Municipal de Mapiri, en coordinación con la Junta de Vecinos, Comité Cívico y jefes de zona, comunica a toda la población de Mapiri que a la llegada de la avioneta de estos días deberán estar presentes toda la concurrencia en general en el lugar de la pista, ya que estará llegando un piloto boliviano con la finalidad de fomentar el turismo en nuestro municipio de Mapiri, que a la vez necesitamos transporte aéreo. Atentamente, firma el directorio.
Now you're going to boost tourism. You're really going to do something here. That's great for everybody. When will the plane get here?
El capitán va a llamarnos.
The pilot will call us in about half an hour, I think, on account of the rain. Okay, bye. Thanks. See you this afternoon?
Okay. Listo.
The weather has cleared up, and the whole village has turned out for the inauguration of the new airfield. They don't have a windsock yet, so Erwan lights a fire at the end of the runway to give the pilot the wind direction.
Cuidado, eh.
We waited all day, but the pilot managed to go around the storm and made a perfect landing, so the runway looks good. I couldn't be happier. We're in business. How you doing? Did you have a good flight?
A bit of turbulence, but it was good.
Let me introduce you to the new airfield manager.
Mira, Capitán Ivo.
This landing strip will help a lot in developing the region, and above all, in emergencies when an ambulance is needed, it can save lives. So it's very important to have a runway and keep it in good working order.
What I like the most is that the people are happy. When you look at the kids' faces, you know it's the first time they've ever seen a plane.
Now that the first plane has landed in Mapiri, Erwan has a new chapter for his book. One more adventure in the life of a free spirit.
All I can say to people is that they should listen to themselves. Don't listen to what people tell you, like, you have to buy a house, you have to have 2 children, you have to have a minivan. Don't listen to what people tell you. Live your own life. I've always done just what I wanted to do. I not only feel free, but I know I am. If tomorrow morning I've had enough of this place, I'll pack my bags and go, even if I don't have any money. I'm going to take my time before finding someone and settling down. It could take 2 weeks. It could take 6 months. That's what life is. In any case, that's what it is for me.
Photography and archaeology are Gabriela Escobar's 2 passions in life. She quite naturally brought them together in one vast project. She travels the length and breadth of Bolivia to photograph every archaeological site in the country, thus building up an inestimable database for historians the world over. Her work is above all scientific, but it also allows her access to nature's most spectacular aspect. Then, the artist takes over.
Es como un caos.
It's chaos.
Casi surrealista.
This landscape is almost surreal. The geometric forms are really awesome.
Para hacer fotografías es
It's just incredible to photograph. I like the texture of the rocks. It's a kind of construction in the middle of nowhere. So just looking at the forms, your imagination takes wings.
Solo al ver las formas.
Thanks to photography and archaeology, Gabriela is exploring the region of Sur-Lipetz in the southern part of the country. It's also an ideal way to meet the locals, who are often an excellent source of information on the region's history. In Bolivia, nature is a wonderful subject for an artist like Gabriela. Standing before the geysers of the Sol de Mañana, she gives free rein to her emotions.
Nunca me canso de la fotografía.
I will never get tired of photography. It's soothing, and it's definitely something I need. It's my gateway to creativity, which can spring up at any moment. For me, it means savoring everything that's all around and capturing it in an image.
Y tratar de capturarlo en una imagen.
Laguna Verde, close to the borders of Chile and Argentina, is surrounded by majestic volcanoes. This unreal lake is at an altitude of 4,300 meters. Its rich emerald color comes from the arsenic and other minerals suspended in the water. The vestiges of a building and a corral bear witness to very ancient human activity here.
The region's entire economy was based on the transportation of goods by llama. It's the only animal that can survive at this altitude and at such low temperatures. It seems that this was the route they took.
La gente que solía pasar por este lugar
The people passing through here lived lower down, around the Salar, for example, the vast salt flat. It's easier to get food in the valleys, and the temperature is much more bearable. The people who would pass through here carried on trade with the valleys.
Eso es. Y ahora mírame.
Now look at me.
Eso es.
That hand down and the other one up?
Sí.
That's it.
Exacto. Manejando, manejando.
Wherever Gabriela goes, her photography is a way to connect with the people she meets along the way. Like Vidal. He was born and raised in this inhospitable region. He has offered to take Gabriela up to the Laguna Colorada, one of Bolivia's most beautiful sites, set in one of its wildest landscapes.
When's their laying season?
In mid-December, On the lake, that's where they lay. They scrape the mud up with their beak into a sort of nest, where they lay a single egg. One egg for each flamingo couple. Look, this is a good spot to shoot from. I think if we get any closer, they'll fly off. As a kid, I used to come here a lot to gather eggs. Then we'd put them in boxes and take them to Chile by llama or donkey to sell them in San Pedro. And there we'd trade 5 eggs for a crate of pears. That's how it worked in Chile. What do you think of that? When I reached 8, I had still never seen a car. The first one I saw, I thought, what is that thing? When we saw the first tourists arrive, we would run and hide. We were afraid. These people with beards and blonde hair, where do they come from? Some other planet? Then, after, it was okay.
Es una sensación que no se puede explicar con palabras.
The feelings you experience here are difficult to put into words. This landscape is one of a kind. It's something that you feel deep within yourself. It's very moving. I would like to keep all this in a box so that it would never disappear and stay just like it is forever.
At San Juan's elementary school, Monday is Citizenship Day, as in all Bolivia's schools. After singing the national anthem, the children present what they've learned in the cultural workshops. Gabriela is eager to share her knowledge. With her visits to her country's schools, she's trying to make the younger generation aware of the importance of the past and the need to preserve the archaeological sites.
Do any of you know about the necropolis here in San Juan? Raise your hand if you know of it. You know about it. And who are our ancestors? Our grandparents. But our ancestors are the grandparents of the grandparents of the grandparents of our grandparents.
Bolivia has a very rich history. The different civilizations that inhabited the country before the arrival of the conquistadors in the 16th century have all left their mark on the land. Gabriela is not trying to give a master class, but rather to plant a little seed of history in the mind of each of these children.
Archaeology is the science that studies the past.
Very good. Ephraim has given the best answer. Let's give him a little hand.
After the classwork, a field trip to the necropolis on the outskirts of town.
Everybody's going to take a look at what's here in the tomb. Before, people used to believe that when you died, you passed over to another world. So they would place small objects belonging to the deceased in the tomb. Here, we explain just what an archaeological site is, what would be the best way to preserve it, because the site could be a source of revenue for the community. In the future, it will be the responsibility of these children to take care of it. The idea is also that when the children go home, they tell their parents, "Today, an archaeologist talked to us about the place where our ancestors lived." And so the parents also start to be aware that it's important to preserve these sites.
If you've never experienced the joy of climbing, it's hard to understand why one would spend hours of effort to get the top of a rock in the heart of the desert. But for the Morales brothers, it's simply a game they play together every time they can get out of the city and take refuge in nature. Miguel and Diego have the same interests. Both of them are firefighters, mountain guides, and paragliding champions. Miguel and Diego live in downtown La Paz. Together, they've set up a little company that organizes paragliding flights and mountain treks.
A long time ago, we went on an expedition near Sahama with my father and his friends. The last day on the way back to the city, the car broke down. There we were, 2 kids, a 5- and 10-year-old, abandoned in a 4-wheel drive for 8 to 10 hours because my father and his friend went off looking for help somewhere. I don't know exactly how long it was, but an entire day on our own wondering, where are they? They are going to come back, aren't they? At night, the cold was overwhelming because we hadn't planned on sleeping out, and we didn't have any sleeping bags, no tent, nothing. But looking back, that was really a good experience. Our first taste of adventure.
Not long ago, Miguel had a serious paragliding accident. When he got out of the hospital, it was his brother Diego who encouraged him to start flying again. For Miguel's comeback flight, they gave themselves a challenge: to fly over the Salar de Uyuni, the vast salt flat in the far southwest of the country. What is it they're hoping to share together? Tons of dust, encounters, and adventures in the country's high-altitude deserts.
Come closer if you want. You'll see better. The most important thing in victim transportation is coordination.
First stage, Sajama. This village, perched up at 4,200 meters in the middle of the desert, is inhabited by only a few families of llama herders. As volunteer firefighters, Miguel and Diego decide to mix business with pleasure by giving a first aid course to the rangers of Sajama National Park.
This is very important to us. We do have a small infirmary here in the village, but it's fairly rudimentary. And this course is very useful.
For example, if an accident happens up in the mountains on the trail to the summit of Sajama, it's a long way to go from there back down to here. It's very important that we know how to help the victim and also to know the best way to make a stretcher and how to transport a person, because the ambulance can't get up there.
Mr. Santiago, hello.
I'm Miguel from La Paz. How you doing? We heard you had a little problem. Where does it hurt?
My neck hurts. I had an accident. I was riding and the horse fell onto me, onto my side.
The two brothers always have their first aid kit with them. They've been trained to monitor vital signs in all kinds of situations, sometimes extreme, like accidents on the road or in the mountains.
I'll apply some ointment, then we'll give you a neck brace, okay? That should put you right.
Being a volunteer firefighter is a big part of my life. It also fits right in with my lifestyle. It allows me to keep helping others, whether it's fighting fires or a medical intervention like here. It's important that you take things easy now. It's going to be kind of awkward to move around with the neck brace. You're going to move a bit like a robot. Whatever you're doing, be careful. You feel better now?
Santiago doesn't have much to offer the two brothers, but a mate of coca leaves is always welcome in these regions where the altitude is hard to endure.
But this is so we can identify them. There are several herders up here, each with his own flock. But sometimes they get mixed up during the day. This way, we can tell them apart. You know, sort them out.
Non ascolti, diga.
Vaya, 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 vaya. Vaya, 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 vaya.
We like doing this, so we seize the opportunity when we can. We're lucky to be able to help people out with something very simple, something small, but very concrete. And that could be truly useful. When you do that, you feel better because you're helping people who really need it. You know, that's a good thing, right? Sharing what you know puts a little smile on the trip.
Miguel and Diego continue their voyage into the country's deep south. The rutted road is taking a heavy toll on their vehicle, and the vibrations plunge them into silence. Miguel clenches his teeth because his back is hurting him. He's afraid he won't be able to fly. From time to time, someone appears from nowhere and reminds us that people actually manage to live in these steppes with the searing heat by day and glacial cold by night.
We're in the middle of nowhere. It's absolutely beautiful, far from everything. Every spot we pass by, we wonder if we'll be able to fly, to climb. What can we do out here? In the morning, we watch the clouds roll by, how they shift. It's like a drug. It's a vice that keeps us in its grip all day long.
The Salar de Uyuni is a vast salt flat, the largest in the world. In the rainy season, the salar is covered by water and it becomes impossible to cross. And even during the rest of the year, it's dangerous to cross, for the weight of the vehicles can break through the crust of salt.
Oh, wow. Qué cool. Poco pensado estar en un lugar así.
It's hard to imagine such a place.
Tan poco y
There's so
tanto
little,
para ver a la
and
vez.
yet there's so much to see. It's awesome.
Alucinante.
Totalmente, ciencia ficción.
Absolutely. It's something sci-fi, a parallel universe. We're here above the rest of the world. The salt is like a layer of clouds, and below all that, there's the rest of the planet with its everyday problems. It's really something else.
Máscara.
The balaclava is to protect your skin from the sun, because you can get a nasty burn. I wear gloves, too, so my hands don't get hurt. Boots to protect me from the water. The salt burns. If you have any scratches, the salt gets in and it stings.
Hello, how you doing? We want to cross the salt flat. Hi, my name's Miguel. Nice to meet you.
Hi, Diego. How are you?
Do you know if it's rained a lot? Can we get across the flat?
You can get across easy. Didn't rain at all. No problem.
Should we go this way or that way?
No, go that way.
Preciosa, irrompible, con ojos esmeralda. Noche y día me pregunto si mañana me cantará la melodía de su infancia. Me gustaría murmurarla con ella. En la bodega de mi padre hay una sombra que se aleja como el ángel de la botella, jineteando un tordillo. Quisiera acompañarlo y pietinar la tierra añorada, Pachamama, hasta el amanecer de un nuevo día.
Me encanta este país.
I really love this country. We're coming to the end of our adventure. We had a great week. We revisited spots we haven't seen for so many years, since our childhood. It was really great to share it all with my brother, now that we're adults. The only thing we have to do now is make our long-awaited flight.
The two brothers have found the ideal spot to take off. There's no turning back now for Miguel. He wants to prove to himself that his back operation can't keep him from plunging once again into the void.
I haven't flown for a long time. Frankly, I'm a bit scared. But hey, the conditions are pretty good. It's really moving for me to get back up in the air. This flight is the cherry on the cake. Doing what you love the most.
It just fascinates me. It's my whole life. I dropped everything for paragliding. That shows you just how much I love it. It's freedom and purity. You're all alone against the elements. You drink in the scenery. Nature, it fulfills our lives completely. Sometimes, it's also a challenge you give yourself, to see how far you can go, to strive to surpass your own limits, to progress and improve. It's hard to explain. It's something that is just so beautiful.